Nangangati na naman ang itlog ko, nangangati na naman ang itlog ko, ka. Nangangati na naman ang itlog ko, nangangati na naman ang itlog ko, ka. What's up YouTube? It's your boy Dashing and this is week 4 of the CDL. I am one of the coaches of Team Kati Itlog and this week we take on the 3 Stoodges. So it's gonna be me versus Vincent, Alan versus Abdo, and Haseen versus Anders. So, in this matchup, it's gonna be really tough. For one thing, I believe this 3 Stooges was like the top team in the power rankings I made, and nothing much has changed. I think a lot of their players didn't really make any trades. So for the most part, it is still the same. So in that respect, it will be very hard for us to like prep for the team because that's basically what the rankings represent. They are probably the hardest team to prep for, even if you know, like all things considered, you can still have good matchups versus them, but it's gonna be unlikely basically. So yeah, the first game we have is Alan versus Abdo. Let's check out the game and see how that went. So they lead Infernape on the Moltres. Goes for a U-turn there, which is kind of fair. You don't really need to fear Flame Body if you're like already a fire type. He goes Agility, Hidden Power. I would guess Ice for the Mens, right? Which is actually good because it even hits the Celebi. And if I were to think, he has a flying move like Air Slash for the Infernape. So this is a very good set, I would say. It hits all of the mons. You know, fire for the Toge and the Elmetal. So yeah. He goes T-Wave on the Moltres. No Lum, that's fine. He goes for another HP, while Toge just goes for a Roost. Gets paralyzed, goes for a Roost again. Goes for a Hidden Power, that's 41. Goes for an Air Slash. Moltres makes his own Air Slash, which is very interesting. And gets the flinch on Kiss. So this is not really too much of a bad position for Abdo since the Moltres is paralyzed at this point. So other mons can outspeed it if he can get it within range. Which I think it's probably in range of like a return from Mens at this point, but he decides to go Toge, and he can just go for like a Zing Zap here, take out the Moltres, but you know, risk like the burn. So takes out the Moltres, no burn, good for him. Goes for a Toxic on the Chomp, which is healed by the Lum. Goes for a Skill Shot, guaranteeing he will be outspeeding the next Mon, or all of his Mons, bar like a Scarf Infernape. Goes for EQ just to get some lefties back. So just to Celebi, very predictable. Still goes for an EQ just in case it wanted to like do some shenanigans. Interestingly enough, he didn't have coverage for the Celebi. Maybe a Poison Jab there would have been good, but I don't think Celebi gets Ice Beam, so maybe if it was like an offensive set, he could take out the Chomp with like an HP Ice, but you know, he had to be like Life Orb for that, and I don't think he was Life Orb. Yeah, he was lefties. So Necrozma on the Togedemaru here, goes for a DD. He's gonna go for Spiky Shield, takes the EQ. Switches to Mens, removes the DD but reads that, goes for a DD again. Goes for a Sunstrike. Gets Dragon Tailed out. Very interesting tech, Dragon Tail. I kinda like that. I do. The thing is, does he have like a dragon move? Because you need a dragon move to take out Chomp, and most of the most of these men's players, they just run like EQ. I think you need EQ for the Necrozma, right? So you're gonna have DD, return, EQ, I don't know, maybe sub or something, or roost. I know some players like to run those moves. But yeah, Dragon Tail, that's not gonna cut it, right? If you're Dragon Tail return, EQ DD, yeah, that's not really good. He has to switch out to Celebi here. Goes for a scale shot. I think that was a good play. He gets 4 hits as well. But he decides to switch out on the Celebi as he goes for a recover, goes for a U-turn. DD is free here again, so yeah, no reason not to. I think also the reason he doesn't just go to Infernate is I mean, he probably fears like a random EQ, but you're not really gonna go EQ on Celebi, right? He goes for a EQ here on the Melmetal. Goes for EQ back. Yeah, it does reveal to be lefties. Maybe a band would be really good there. But yeah. Goes for Flare Blitz, takes out. So it was Scarfed. It was a Scarf Infernape after all. He goes for Flare Blitz on the Poltergeist, activates Weak Armor as well as Sash. He goes for a Smash here, and he should be able to outspeed all of the Mons. I don't think Celebi gets any priority, and the priority that Toge has is like Fake Out and shit, so it's not gonna be effective versus the Poltergeist. This should be able to win right here. Shadow Ball, and another one for the Ments. So amazing plays. I mean, the game was kinda straightforward in that regard. He was able to position the Mons pretty well, I would say. And the air slash miss or flinch on the Toge really put him in a good position there. So a solid win from Alan. Now me and Haseen just need to win one more game. Now, when I was talking to them, I was pointing out that, you know, between the three Stoodges, it looks like my opponent Vincent is like the star player because he has been winning all of their games, while the other two have been losing their games. I think Avdo has like one win, but it was like due to disqualification. So, you know, it's not in terms of like a legit game win. They're both, you know, they both haven't won a game yet. So I was like, I'm not sure I'm gonna win this one because for one thing, Vincent is a very good player. I've seen some of his replays and he does play the game very well. And my matchup isn't really that particularly good. It's definitely, I think it could be even if it wasn't for the Volcanion having like Water Absorb. That Water Absorb really prevents a significant mon in my team in Vaporeon getting like a flip turn to like heal one of my mons off. So I would say the matchup is very in his favor just because of that small detail. But yeah, let's check out the game and see how it went. So I lead Coco here. Coco is pretty decent lead. Another mix-up here is I don't know if it's like a Quick Feet Jolteon or Volt Absorb. Both are pretty effective versus my team. If I were to guess, Quick Feet is probably better just because, you know, you could probably outspeed +2 Necrozma and, you know, get a T-Wave off. There goes Volt Switch here. As I go for like a Dazzling Gleam, I went for the Gleam predicting it to be, you know, like Volt Absorb just to get some chip on it. We go Necrozma here on the Wish from Sylveon. I go for a Sunstrike here just to see like how much damage I can do on the incoming mon, whatever that could be. No point going for a DD there, in my opinion, because we don't know what mon he wants to go to. And it's revealed to be lefties. That is very good information to have. He goes Bulk Up here as I just go for a U-turn, which is very free. So we get some chip on the Sylveon, not much. Necrozma comes in here. Knowing that the Zarude is not like a Scarf set, we can just set up here. I go for +2 DD here. He bulks up once. I go for the Steel Strike here. I think that would have been a mistake on my part. Maybe the better play would just go to +3. But I wasn't really sure what he was gonna do, if he was just gonna go for like a third bulk up. And I think if he went for like a second bulk up on my third DD, he could kill me with a crit. Actually, even the one bulk up could kill me, but I guess the point there was, if I got like +3/+3, I think I would outspeed the Jolteon and be able to OHKO all of his mons, probably. Well, no, because the Donphan will have Sturdy, that's for sure. I think that's why I just pulled the trigger in +2. He has to sack a mon here, he sacks the Zarude. The Donphan should come in here, it's very free. So it comes in, I go for Vaporeon, take the EQ. That does very good damage. I didn't even calc that if that was like maybe a banded set, which it probably was. I switch out to Coco, scouting for the HP Ice. Predictable. Okay, so it gets some burn damage there. Goes for another Volt Switch, brings out the Donphan. I go for a Dazzling Gleam here. We do some decent chunk. He actually goes for an Ice Shard there, unfortunate. I guess that would have killed even without the crit. I was hoping to get it like with a Grass Knot and like chip it down to range where I can position the Necrozma better. But yeah, in hindsight, probably not going Necrozma early on may have been the better play, but you know, it's really tough to say, right? So Jolteon comes in on the Wish. I just go to Moltres here, knowing we can take the electric move and heal it back a pretty decent chunk. The problem with this one is we are eternally checked by the Sylveon, which is very annoying. Moltres doesn't really have, like, it has like Steel Wing, something like that, but that doesn't do shit. In hindsight, maybe going physical Moltres would have been like a better play, but the damage itself is pretty negligible considering, you know, a very defensive Sylveon. He can just roost or, you know, Wish Protect and heal that off. And Moltres doesn't really have any boosting options on the physical side. So it's a very bad matchup. Yeah, we just go for a U-turn on the Vaporeon. He goes for a Wish. I didn't really bring Scald this game just because it's so obvious that Volcanion like walls the Vaporeon. So that was very interesting. I guess he went for that because even if I switch to Necrozma, it would still be fine. He goes for a Toxic there, as I go for an Ice Beam. He goes for another sub, predicting he's maybe he didn't notice that he was faster. But yeah, we just go for a Heal Bell here. He goes for another Toxic as I go for a Wish. I switch out to Necrozma thinking maybe he'll Toxic again because I was gonna Heal Bell, but he gets me on the switch. And oof, when Necrozma went down, I was like, okay, I'm not winning this one. I need him to make some dumb plays if I'm gonna win, and he's not making any dumb plays. So yeah, I think if anything, I was just trying to get the differential lower at this point. But yeah, I just couldn't break his core. The Sylveon, as well as, you know, the Volcanion and the Jolteon, they're really doing excellent work. I go for a U-turn here. I bring out the Shaman. He goes for a Wish. I just go for a Seed Flare. We do a good chunk of damage. As he goes for a Hyper Voice. He even gets a crit, man. Like, holy shit. If he doesn't get the crit, I think we could still live like maybe two We definitely live another hyper voice. So we could get good damage on one of his mons. Oh sorry. Fast forward. Volcanion, no. Alright, here. So he switches out to the Jolteon. In hindsight, I probably should have just went for like the Seed Flare there. But yeah, it would have done it would have done really good damage. Probably not KO, or maybe it would KO. But yeah, I think I wanted just to Air Slash just in case he wanted to stick around. So yeah, we could have killed the Jolteon there, making it like a 4-0. But even then, we didn't really have anything to win at this point. The Salamence just like auto wins the game. And I tried to like go for like T-Wave shenanigans. Maybe should have done that earlier. But yeah. You know, this is what happens sometimes when you're playing like a very good player and the matchup is not really in your favor. It could really look this one-sided. And I think if it wasn't for the Volcanion having water absorb, there were scenarios where we could have just gotten Necrozma in safely, heal it up, and then position it on the Sylveon and take another Mon out. But that one ability really won him the game. Sets up rocks here with the Donphan. At this point, I didn't really want to waste any more time. I knew he wasn't gonna mess up, so I'm like, bro, just attack, man. You know, I'm not even gonna heal anymore. No point wasting each other's time. He wasn't really sure about that, so I eventually make some like obvious plays here. I did take a while before realizing this. He goes for a Toxic there. I just go for Ice Beam. I think maybe I kind of wanted Ice Beam for, of course, the Salamence. I just sack off the Moltres here, and then sack off the Frostlass as well. You know, just showing him like, hey, I'm sacking my mons for no reason. Just kill me already, right? So yeah, this is gonna be a solid win for Vincent. You know, the match is in his favor, but still, you know, whenever you can take out dashing, it's always gonna be like a solid win. So yeah, I'm like, bro, just attack. I'm not even healing anymore. I'm spamming flip turn for crying out loud. So yeah, we are gonna be losing this one 5-0. That's probably the worst we've ever lost a match. Normally we are able to like clutch it out, but you know, CDL has a lot of good players, and that's what happens with power creep. So yeah, so the last game is up to Haseen versus Anders, and I was kind of shitting on Anders because, you know, he is that guy that, you know, hasn't had a win yet, while, you know, having like a top tier team for one thing. So I was asking like Haseen, like, how do you feel about the matchup? Like, you know, I had to fight like their star, while Alan and Haseen had to fight like the jobbers. But Haseen was like, no man, Anders is like a really good player, you know, he was champ in like PTG and whatnot. So I was like, okay, so, you know, he's probably just having a bad season. I didn't really get to check out his game, so I can't really formally have an opinion on the player. Maybe he was just unlucky with like RNG and stuff. So yeah, let's check out the game, see how that went. So the lead Hax was on the Verizon. Goes for Toxic. Healed by the Lum, goes DD here. Goes for Dragon Claw, survives. I'm not sure what the calc was that, if it was like a low roll or what. But yeah, a good advantage here. Brings out AG. I don't really agree with that. I think your best play was bringing out the Mens, get the Intimidate, and then maybe switch out to the AG. But it is what it is. EQ he actually lives the EQ, and if that was just like a max HP AG, then Hasin got a fairly low roll. It was in his favor to like Oko, but yeah, it is what it is. He switches out to Mens here on the Dragon Claw, which was predictable. Like, no reason not to go Dragon Claw there, especially, you know, predicting that. Now, this was the interesting part. He goes for Mew. Now, for you to go Mew, I would say, you had to have like a decent matchup versus the remaining mons. And he did show me like the Mew set, and his Mew set was kinda trash, in my opinion. I did not like the Mew set at all. It was like DD with like 3 attacks, and the 3 attacks didn't really have good coverage. It was like, I don't know, like Ice Punch, Drain Punch, something like that. It wasn't good. I think going Dragonite was like the safe play. So, you know, if you go Dragonite and he brings out any of this, you're kind of good. If you brought out the Mamoswine, you could just switch out to the Puku, right? Or the Necrozma on the switch, on the like ice move. But yeah, I don't think Mew was a good switch here. But yeah, let's see what happens. He switches out to Dragonite here, and he does get lucky with the Hypnosis Miss, but it actually procs Blunder Policy. He gets the Hypnosis here. He burns a Sleep Turn as he goes for a switch to the Diancie on the Tail Glow. Now, this was a huge misplay. This was a choke. This was a choke from Hasin. So basically, the way I kind of checked it out. So we might as well play it. Basically, Cirque gets a sweep here. He doesn't really have any mons. It's already like +5 at this point, so Dazzling will kill. So its moveset is Hypnosis, Dazzling, T-Bolt, and Tail Glow. So yeah. When I checked the matchup, I saw that the Dragonite, even worst case scenario, the worst case scenario there was you burn a Sleep Turn on the Hypnosis, you burn a second Sleep Turn provided you don't wake up on turn 2. And then you still survive, right? You still survive the Dazzling Gleam. He actually survives +3 Dazzling Gleam. It's like it's like 50%, I think, something along those lines. If it's modest. If it's not modest, then it's he survives 100%. So basically, if you woke up turn 1 or turn 2, you could just throw an EQ, and unboosted EQ has like an 87% chance to Oko. So that was your best bet, considering your other mons didn't have any priority on them. Like Mew gets priority moves, but his set in particular did not have those. So yeah, that was a huge choke on Hasin's part. He was really kicking himself after the match, saying that, you know, he had bad matchups like from week 1, and he finally got like a good matchup, and he just like played it badly. So another loss for Team Kati, but you know, we are learning, right? We do learn from our mistakes, and we can't really play, like in my case, I can't really play good players all the time. I'm eventually gonna get like the scrubs of the league, and that's where we're gonna shine. Or even if we play good players, we will have like more even matchups and maybe games in our favor. So yeah, we're gonna lose 2-1 to the 3 Stoodges. Good games in general, but yeah, some questionable plays here and there. Yeah, that's gonna be the video. If you guys like the content, like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to support your boy even more, links to Patreon down in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers!